Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome. We are live on YouTube and we are in the Zoom room for the people that are in our Courageous Clarity Challenge Club or the Courageous Clarity Club. And we're going to move on and talk about clarity in day two. I'm using my iPad today. I like the visuals better on this one. And then also the audio is going to pick up better than my I need to upgrade my laptop, but that's what I work on. But anyway, I need to upgrade that, and I haven't done so. So we're gonna jump right in. For those of you who have the journal, and you may have one that looks like this, the green one, or you may have the purple one with the little lady on the front. They have the same content in them. They're just a little structured a little bit differently. All the pages should be the same as far as the content. You have a couple of extra pages on the back that give you some extra space for all of the goodness that we're going to unblock throughout this challenge. But I talk about clarity because it's important. And when I look back over my life, when I was looking at every time I was having like some concerns or a little bit of difficulty, it was a matter of clarity that I was seeking and didn't realize it. Because that's not something that we really generally talk about, just in casual conversation. We don't usually just talk about that. But I wanted to bring it up to show us how it's affecting us, and then, of course, giving us an example of how it's affecting our daily life. Let me check on people for just a second. Yes. I'm going to share this in our group one more time since I moved over. But those of you inside of the club, you can just click the link and it'll take you right to the Zoom. Yesterday, I was really generous and I went live in the Facebook group. I'm not doing that today. And we're going to continue to do this moving forward because it makes my job easier. And it's going to help me to show up 100% and not be distracted. And I was all over the place. So let me post this here. They can hop on. But for those of you who don't have the journal, or maybe you just stumbled upon this video and you're like, this is interesting, I want to see what it's all about, you actually joining the Courageous Clarity Club, you'll be able to download a PDF version, which I'll share on the screen in just a little bit. And it'll give you the questions that we're going over throughout this week. Those of you who have the journal, follow the questions in the journal. They are similar, but all of the questions and the way it's structured will not be released on the free content, as I'm just operating in integrity. I can't share for free what people have paid for, nor do I want to. So let's share my screen here and we can get started. Okay, so let's look over here. We're gonna go. I love to use Canva, you guys. That is like my number one place to go for just about everything. I want to start off the day by reviewing and talking about the power of decisions. How many decisions do you think you make in a day? I'm interested to see what you guys think. How many decisions do you think we make in a day? So probably going to, I know you know we make a lot, but I'm probably going to surprise some of you guys by the amount that we make. Maybe I should share this as a presentation. I wonder what it, want to make sure that it's big enough for you guys to see. But I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I don't want to keep you long. I'm very appreciative of your time and take that into consideration. And we want to get to it. So you've already joined the Courageous Clarity Challenge. Pat yourself on the back for that. You showed up. And now let's take it a step further. Let's start understanding decision fatigue. If you haven't heard that, you're probably gonna hear it, like especially during these times when this is being recorded. It is a real thing, and we're gonna talk about and share some things, point to some reasons why. Decision fatigue will have an impact on your productivity and your mental well-being. It also can go a step further if it's unchecked. One of the main reasons we're doing this, and affect your physical health as well. And we wouldn't want that, right? Not at all. It's not you guys that's in the room, because that's what you want to avoid. Okay, just checking and making sure we're still good. And we are. Okay, so far so good. All right, so the average person, as you can see on the screen, the average adult makes about 35,000 decisions a day. 35,000 decisions a day. That is a lot. And they can range from something small, like what you're going to eat, to large career choices. So the average person that maybe be employed, really just employed, period. Right now, we have a lot of attention on federal employees, but this has been going on for a while for everybody else that doesn't work for the feds. But right now, they have to think about what they're going to eat, sleep, drink, and probably where you're going to sleep and eat, in addition to making some career choices, right? Constant decision making leads to mental fatigue and burnout. I can attest to that, especially being an entrepreneur. In days since I have removed myself, when I first left my corporate job, I had a whole bunch of extra energy because it was draining me with the decisions I made. And one of my main complaints to my husband would be, I don't have a job where you're out there physically like working. Like, I'm not out there lifting bricks or anything like that. But when I get home, that's what I felt like. I was not a bedside nurse. And I was like, I'm starting to feel like I did when I did home health. Those of you that may be truck drivers or things like that, you know the road will whoop you. So, and then hopping in and out and whatever else you have to do on the inside of the house, for those of you that maybe do home health, it is exhausting. And then you never know what you're going to get into as well. And that's on a good day. Add some nasty weather to it, and we have a whole nother ball game. But when I first left, I had a whole bunch of energy because I didn't have all that stuff draining me, right? But being an entrepreneur and being at home more, I started to notice, and when I would come home from the office, that I started to feel like that a little bit again. And I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? So it made me look at it, and I said, I started studying, and I was like, I really think that I'm suffering from decision fatigue. I got to figure out a way to cut back on some of this, so it is not gonna, that's the whole point, and while I'm no longer there. So it will not affect my mental and then eventually my physical health, or at the same time, right? So this clarity challenge will be a reminder for you. It will be someone pointing it out. It'll be you acknowledging it and pointing it out to yourself and accepting it, what's going on. Not just for awareness. That is like my biggest thing right now. Not just for awareness. That's not what I'm about. Awareness is awesome. Now it's time to act. We don't have the luxury of just becoming aware. We don't live in that time. We need to act upon it. So you're going to learn how to simplify your decisions, trust your instinct, and move forward with confidence and intention. So let's look at the executive level. We'll go up a little bit. The executive level corporate employee makes about 60,000 to 100,000 decisions a day. Yes. So that's going to be your supervisors, your administrators, people that are making those executive level decisions. High stake decisions affecting the revenue, whatever strategy you're going to use, and the company culture. Now, you know they are probably making more than, and this is just statistics that I roughly pulled. It's not based on probably like today. So I'm pretty sure they probably up to 200,000 now with everything that's going on in the workplace environments today alone. They are having to constantly prioritize and delegate and navigate crisis management. Because the thing about it is that once upon a time, crisis management used to represent this little red folder that you just sat in the corner at your workplace. And when the people came around for inspection, telling on myself here, when the people came around for inspection, you were responsible for at least knowing where the book was. Most of us didn't know what the book said in it because we hadn't been exposed or experienced any crisis. Well, in the last 5 years, when I'm recording this, I think most of us know what we're supposed to do when, or what we were supposed to do when, like the back of our hand, because of the crisis that has transpired over the last couple of years. And but them having to deal with that and navigate that, that is part of their job description. So we got a inkling of an insight of that maybe during COVID on what the average executive level corporate employee goes through. You know, that's their job. When things, when they go bad or go downhill, they're the one that people come looking for. Now we're going to look at some entrepreneurs, because a lot of people think that entrepreneurs, I didn't want you to see that just yet. A lot of people think that entrepreneurs are just people that decided that we're going to be lazy and we're not going to work no more. We're going to go home and you're going to party. You're going to be on beaches. You're going to be on cruises. You're going to be flying here and there all the time. You're going to have all these bukus of money. That is not true. We work hard. And those people that are doing that are either one or two things. They have failed a whole lot of times and put their time in, and now they're seeing the fruits of their labor. Or two, they are lying, or some kind of criminal. That's the people that you see. So the average entrepreneur is going to make at least 80 to 150,000 decisions per day. That's the average entrepreneur. Then you have people like me. You have people that have more than one business, or they wear more than one hat inside of one business. So you're going to see people usually balancing operations, marketing, sales, content creation, coaching, financial decisions. Financial decisions is a beast all on its own, as well as marketing and business operations. Advice to any new entrepreneur or anybody that is feeling the weight of all of this: you may be operating in solopreneurism right now, but your goal should be to get to CEO mode, where you start delegating that out. And so you're like, I'm stuck on that. I don't know what to do. Well, that's what your girl is here for. So now we're going to do, now they do more of the CEO decisions, deciding who, what, when, where. Usually in the corporate arena, that's a lot of meetings. In entrepreneurship, what I love about it, and y'all can take this on as well, I try to cancel almost every meeting that I have. If it does not physically require me to be there, we can talk about that over an email. And then I do the next best thing is I slim down my phone calls as well. Send an email, send a document, send a slide. I have tons of marketing people trying to get me to hire them. I would never do that, because obviously you didn't take time to study my brand and to understand what I'm about, and that that's not how I work. So you're going to need to follow the proper channels. But anyway, send me over your work, because we're busy. But anyway, so most importantly, you're going to need to learn how to protect your energy and avoid burnout. Burnout has been present. And the dangerous thing about burnout is that people embraced it as it was normalcy. Another word that we use for it is hustle culture. So what I don't want you guys to do, especially those of you that are in a pivot, or you're leaving like the workplace and you're being pushed into entrepreneurship, or you're going to try, on your own because you've been wanting to, and now everything is lining out and this is the time. So what you want to do is you want to step into entrepreneurship. You already know how to work, but what you're not going to do is take that old habits, old baggage that created the burnout in the first place, and bring it into your new thing. Even if you're just switching jobs, don't bring those old habits into the new thing. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. We're talking about you. Now, this is my favorite one because they get a lot of flack from people. I don't know why, because this has never been for me. But a stay-at-home mom, parent of and housewife of two kids, they average estimate and say that they will make at least 50 to 70,000 decisions per day on a good day. They're managing household logistics, parenting, budgeting, and crisis management. Yes, all of that is going to fall on them. So that's part of the reason why they are at home. And this is what they wanted to do. Constant interruptions, like when you go, if you are a mom, a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So those decisions that they're making at 75K a day, they are being interrupted at least 50 times per hour, y'all. So that's going to create an extreme decision fatigue. They're not able to complete their thought. It's interrupted constantly. So that's why we see the decrease in the number of decisions that they're making. But think about it, how long it's taking them to actually, land this out, to actually take action on, because they're constantly being interrupted by the things that they're managing. One of them being the children, then there's two of them, and they don't list like the husband on there as well. But right here, and that's the same thing for if it was a stay-at-home dad, it's going to be the same. And then usually we have our own duties that we add on to that, and we're assuming that this is a two-parent home, that they have maybe hopefully divvied up the responsibilities in a good way. So she's not overwhelmed and having to do everything, but she does take on the majority of the bulk, because that is what she wanted to do. So let's see, we look at that. So you see the stay-at-home parent with 50 to 75K. And look at here, the entrepreneur starts in at 80K. The executive starts in at 60K. Oh, and the average adult 30K per day, 30, 35. But that was alarming to me, the stay-at-home parent, because of the fact that look how many decisions they are making compared to these two high-stress individuals, the executive and the entrepreneur. If you're going to be an executive level employee or an entrepreneur, you better learn how to manage stress. So you are in the right place. Now, the impact, you're hearing the challenge. So kudos again. You're going to learn how to establish routines and structure choices to help you reclaim your mental health, energy. And that's going to impact your physical health, because your family wants you to be here long, strong, and enjoy and live life, right? The impact of the decision fatigue can lead to increased stress, mental exhaustion, poor decision making. It also can cause you to procrastinate, make impulsive choices, and burnout. It is important to find and reduce the cognitive load. I can't stress that enough, y'all. So the point on why I thought this was interesting, first of all, but I want you guys to see in real time the point of putting this work in addition to me just telling you this. So this is how we're going to reduce the fatigue. You're going to automate what you can and systemize it. You're going to make batch decisions. You're going to set non-negotiables. That is definitely important when it comes to that stay-at-home parent. You're going to delegate when possible. And then number 5, you're going to manage your energy and not just time. You're going to need to pay attention to your energy, and you're going to need to note when is a good time for you to make decisions. The time of day right here is about 6:22 p.m. Central Standard Time when I'm recording this. This would not be a good time for me to be making a whole lot of decisions. I do better with making decisions probably about, you do well to assign that task to me around, I'm going to say 10 o'clock is when my brain wakes up. 10 o'clock. Okay. We're not doing that one. Okay. So now we're going to jump into the content for today. And we're going to go to the journal. Now, we're on day 2, identifying roadblocks, and I'm going to share a little bit of information for us in just a second, but let's jump straight to the question that they're asking for the sake of time. So, and remember, for those of you who have the journal and already started, you're going to go back and you're going to revisit day 2, and you're going to note what you said, and then you're going to evaluate and see if you still feel that way. If you do, great. If you don't, it's even better. So what you're going to do is you're going to note it. Make this a little bit bigger. Okay. You're going to note it so that you can reflect upon it. And then you're going to just, if you have something different, you're going to write it out in parentheses or a different color and just put the date by it. And then you're also going to go ahead and go back to the day that you're actually on and do that work for that section. So day 2, identifying roadblocks. So the thing that they want to ask us or want us to journal about is list 3 things currently standing in your way of gaining clarity. Yesterday, we talked about what clarity meant to you. So now you have put a definition to it, because that's what was important. What does clarity mean to you, for those of you who are not there? And then I wanted you to describe what it felt like when you have had it, and describe a time when you felt unclear about how it affected your decisions. So we know that. And for those of you that are just now seeing this and wasn't there yesterday, go back and do number 1, and then come back and do number 2. But list 3 things currently standing in your way of gaining clarity. Also note, what is one small step you can take today toward more clarity? I want you guys to drop a comment with the answers to that. And I'm just interested in what you would have to say. Now, this document that I'm showing, remember, it's the free PDF that I provide to the club members. If you want this PDF, just go over and join the club. All you got to do is just click and then introduce yourself, and boom, you will have access to this PDF as well as the replays. But I'm interested to see what you guys are going to say. And one thing I do is I am very transparent, very, very transparent. I feel like that is needed and a loss. And when I say transparent, I'm not going to dress it up for you. That would not serve me nor you. I don't understand why people do that. But I'm going to share some of what I wrote in my journal. And remember, I have the hard copy here, so it may be a little bit different, but it's still the same. Let's see. All right. So number 1, I shared with them yesterday on what my answer was for that. Let me review it for just a second. Okay. But today, let's see. The way it is designed inside of the journal that they have that you can purchase is it breaks it up into 3 sections so that it's not overwhelming. And the answers can range from a 1 word. You can write nothing if you don't have anything at this time. And then you can overflow. Answer the question, go to the pages in the back so that you can continue to write. That's why they have extra pages there. But I wanted to share here that in my morning check-in for day 2, so that I could identify blocks, they had me to focus on values that guide my life. So number 1 was going to be the Bible. The Bible, biblical principles, and ultimately love is what I use to guide me. And that standard I apply to everything I do. So that's going to help me to identify the roadblocks, things that are in the way. So let's understand or talk a little bit about what these roadblocks are, because some of you are going to be like, what? But we have internal and external roadblocks. Your internal roadblock will look like fear, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, procrastination, limiting beliefs, and perfectionism. And we talked about those yesterday. And we talked about they were the things that we're not going to do, right? Because we talked about what we are going to stop doing in order for us to do the things that we want to achieve what we say we want anyway. External roadblocks will be lack of resources. So before you arrived at this challenge, you may have had a lack of resources. You no longer have that concern or excuse. You have an abundance of resources that have been fine-tuned to suit us today. Unsupportive environment. When you go through the questions the way that they are presented and you journal, you're going to discover that some of us don't know, do we have an unsupportive environment? And some of us are like just going to arrive at that this week or next week or whenever you watch this video. Financial constraints. That is a big one right now, isn't it? That is a concern on almost every person's plate right now, no matter what their income bracket is. We are concerned with financial constraints, and then we're going to have the one that impacts us all because it is limited. Time limitations. That is our most valuable resource, and they ain't making no more time. So those are some of the things or the differences between the internal and the external. So note those things when you answer the questions of some things that may be standing in your way of gaining clarity. What's one small step you could take today towards more clarity? So yesterday I asked them what step did they take, I think, toward achieving that clarity. And it was quiet. People was like, thinking about it. And I was like, that's a given, y'all. You actually signed up for this challenge and you showed up. And then you're going to go and you're going to do the work. So that is what you did. Us acknowledging that and writing it down is progress. And you need to see that you have made some type of progress in order to achieve the clarity that you're trying to see. Now, I want to share a little bit more about what it was asking me today. And then consider one step you could take to gain more. So if you are having trouble with any of these roadblocks that I just listed, say you are struggling with limiting beliefs, what can you do with that? One, you can identify them by writing them down. Two, you can look into them and try to see where they're stemming, where they're coming from. Some of these limiting beliefs have been passed down, and we talked about that we were canceling out those generational curses yesterday. And some of these limiting beliefs we have put on ourselves, and we're going to put them back down where they belong. So identifying or calling them out and taking an action towards that, that's what we're going to do. Then if it's an external roadblock, say time. Time, I want to think, is like the number one concern is a lack of time for self. We have time for everything else and everybody else, but we don't have time for ourselves and our well-being. Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. How do we not have time for ourselves and our well-being? Because if we don't do that, what's going to eventually happen? We're going to succumb to all the abuse that we are signing up for. And then we won't be able to be there for whatever we were dedicating our time to. And a lot of times that's people. A lot of times that's our parents, that's our children, that's our spouses, that's our friends, real friends is what we're talking about. It's our family, the causes that we care about. If we neglect ourselves, we won't be able to do that. Remember, if you don't take care of you, you can't help anybody else. So now I want you to list your roadblocks and identify if they are external or internal when you're doing your journaling today. So list the things according to what we just shared, list your roadblocks, and then note if they are internal or external. Now, when you go to the next one, write one small step you could take today towards more clarity. So let's look down, and I'm going to share a little bit about, this is a good one. I'm going to share a little bit about the inside of the hard copy that we have, and we have the link at the bottom here where you can order yours from Amazon, and you can just scan this and boom, go get it. But when you join the club, the Courageous Clarity Club, you're going to have a link where you can order it. And when you do that, all you need to do is screenshot a receipt, and then you can post it in the group, send it to me in a message, and then I will unlock the course so you can go ahead and download the PDF version of week 1 of the hard copy. So I want to share a little bit of my evening reflection as we close. So it asked me, what small clarity did I gain today? And you know what? I didn't gain any small clarity that day. I remember this day vividly. What I noted that day, and this was only day 2, y'all. That's what I love about this. When we unclog what we are doing, think about our mind is marinating in some unseasoned, yucky stuff, just filling our heads, sucking up all this negativity. But when we unclog it, then all that negativity and bad stuff can just come out. And then you can show up as the beautiful person, brilliant person as you are. And the things that you have wanted to execute, you will start to see yourself being able to execute them. You will start to see the brain fog go away. You will start to see yourself following up on things, remembering things, understanding things. It will just, the things will just start flowing. So I am an individual that competes for government contracts. So what I noted here was the proposal that I created for the federal contract is actually the content that the people need to hear, see, and have today. So part of this stuff that I'm sharing, I created this for a federal contract. But I had an aha moment because we are always like, I'm not here to entertain anybody. I'm here to educate and make it entertaining while I do it. But I'm not here for entertainment. And that's why I don't entertain people that ask me if I want them to help me with my videos, because my videos are not for educational purposes. And the people that are here for my content don't care what I look like. They just want to be able to hear me clearly and to get the handouts that I have available, if or see what I have on the screen. That's all they care about. But anyway, so and then I'm presenting it in a factual, easily understandable way. So now, when I had that moment, I was like, yes, because I was going back and forth about what am I going to talk about? What am I going to focus on next? And I was like, you already have the content. There's so many of us, we don't sit down and just do like batches of content based on what the masses want. We are inspired and we just go to work related to what our passion and our work is. Then when an opportunity present, we go back and we get it and we present it instead of having to create something new. Now that was beautiful to me because I spent a lot of time, effort, and of course dialed it into the thousands because I was presenting it in a proposal for the federal government. Of course I did, right? So I was like, yes. And then the topic that I'm talking about is just like so easy for me to teach. And that's what we should be doing, because that way we'll be able to help people to understand and relate in a way that nobody else can. Now, further, I said I feel successful when I trust God and submit to his will. That was something that, we always ask people, what does success mean to you? What does success feel like? I know you guys are like, what does that have to do with roadblocks and all this other stuff that she told us to journal on? This is what happens when you put in the work to answer these questions that we have on the screen. So don't feel like, and I'm sharing that because I want you guys to understand how this works. It's not a where you get to pick, okay, I don't need number one. I'm not going to do number one. I don't need number two. I'm going to skip over here and I'm only going to show up to day 5 because that's when they really come with it. It all works together for the greater good. And if you show up and you do it, and it may not seem like much to you, because the greatest work that we never do is the easy stuff. And Myron Golden talks about how people don't like to think. Well, I'm gonna take it a step further. I was okay, why people don't like to do that? I think it's because they're lacking clarity. They don't even know what they're trying to figure out. So this lesson will help you guys with that. But I want to thank you as well as always for your time and attention, because I'm really big on that, you guys, and remind you to go over and join our Courageous Clarity Club. We are hosting one on School. It is free to get in. If you want the journal that really has all of, as you can see on here, we don't have everything on here. Some of it is blacked out. But if you want all of the extra sauce things that's going to make you have those aha moments like what I was sharing, then go over and get the book from Amazon. I made it easily accessible and it will ship to you in 2 days. And remember to just screenshot your receipt and send it to me inside of the group or through the message here. And then I will unlock the course so that you can go ahead and get started and download your real PDF today. But thank you guys so much. And I am interested in hearing feedback always. And I'm also always soliciting more topics on what you want to learn. But I am Coaching T, the CEO and owner of Simply the Best Coach Academy. And I just want you guys to remember that you are simply the best. And I'm encouraging you to keep showing up and keep doing the work. Now go journal and jot down those 1 or 2 sentences. And what you are proving to yourself is that you're worth it. That you are a person that does it when nobody is making you do it. And that matters, guys. But y'all have a good day, good evening, whenever you are seeing this. And I will see you next time. Tune in tomorrow, same time, same place, and we'll move on.